Hey there, strangers. It's time for another 2 p.m. PST Twitch stream. I'm your host, Strange Bro Jim. Today we are getting ourselves back into some coding, or this is my coding day. I normally work on my game. I've been doing a lot of animations for a long time now, but we are finally getting into the actual prefabs of, or we're actually going to be uploading all the animations into the prefabs. Hey there, Kira. How you doing, bud? Okay, so I made a mistake on my tweet. I need to make a slight correction here real quick. 1 second while I take care of that. Here, let me just put this on webcam only so you guys can kind of see. Um, oh yeah, Kira, I do. It's not always filled with. Um, I don't follow a ton of programmers or anything like that. I follow a lot of streamers and the like, and it also contains quite a bit of my political views. So mm, just be warned. But it's something. Um, yeah, it I do it to let people know when I do stream. But it also has more of my casual side as well. So um, if I do catch something that is programming related, then I will like retweet it or like it or discuss it. But uh, stop on my hashtags at the end there should be not have AVs. Oh, nope, let's see. Oh. PVC should have hashtag coding, hashtag Unity 3D, and hashtag. Oh, there we go. Okay, so um, oh, you do? Okay. Yeah, I like the um, I do like the widescreen of it, so it helps. Especially if I'm um, needing to kind of move around or anything like that. So um, it's like gameplay of CS on a 4:3 screen. Nice. Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Let me go ahead and get my phone on my stream here so I can have another eye on my on comments and the like. Okay, so uh, we got quite a bit of work to do today. All of the, like I said, all the animations are done. Um, will I ever do a room tour? Maybe one day. Um, technically, this isn't my room per se. I could. My roommate could, or my landlord roommate friend could basically say, "Hey, um, I need to take back the room so I can rent it out again. But I mean, it's it's a nice way for me to kind of be somewhat soundproof, somewhat. What I'd really like to do is get, my own place uh, so I can fill up my shelf there with everything that I have in my boxes. But um, all the movies that I have, all the books that I have, you know, um, the few anime series that I do have on DVD. So, okay. Let's see. We have our. I wish there was a way to help. It's it's okay there, Carol. You know, um, things. All you always have to look towards the positive side of things. To be able to um, look for the. You always want to you know aim for those goals. Okay. Otherwise, you're just gonna kind of spin yourself out of control. Okay. I've been there before. I know um, I know where really bad depression can get towards. Thankfully, it didn't go that far. I mean, there's been obviously there are people that have harder cases of depression, and that leads to much more serious consequences. Thankfully, I never got that far. Um, you know, so, but you always want to look at the positive side of things. Um, to be honest, I think you could replace our programming teachers and everyone would be more interested. Well, my problem is that, um, I might be able to convey some subject matters, but I don't have all the answers. And another um, another downside of it is that I my mother was a teacher, and I saw all the hardships that she had to go through, and to me I didn't really see the rewards. um, and that would never be a good teacher. Okay. You always want to be the kind of teach. If you go into teaching, you have to have that appreciation of wanting to help out your students. Okay, to be able to kind of reach out to your students and tell them, you know, um, here's what you need to do in order to get past what you're facing. Okay. Now, I can I can kind of do that. I do that in such in a way because um, you know I've I've learned that not um, every problem has different solutions to that problem. Okay. It's really it you know there's not every problem has a single solution to the problem. Okay. Take math for example. Okay. Now there are some matters that you have to have the right kind of formula, but you can also kind of switch math around to be able to do to get to the same answer but slightly differently. You can kind of change your formula around and you can still kind of get the right answer. Okay. Um, you know, that's why in some cases I I appreciate uh, the way where you can actually um, the schools here in the States, they try to do the Common Core math, and I understand what they were trying to do, but it confused a lot of people that were kind of more into the traditional math. But I understood what they were trying to go for, and that's the thing. Okay. When it comes to mathematics, there's multiple different ways of actually viewing a math problem. Okay. And some of them obviously are wrong because you're not doing the formulas correctly, but um, there's other ways of kind of looking at a potential way of doing something. That's one of the reasons why I tend to like coding as well, in that um, the um, you know for for a program, not everybody's code is going to look the same. Okay, you can have an if statement in one section where another person has, the if statement in another location or something along those lines. Okay, someone might want to use booleans, where someone might want to just use numeric bits or something like that. You know, everybody has a different style of how they want to go and work on a particular problem. So, you hate public school? I didn't really like it all that much myself. Um, Mainly, I didn't really. One of the things that really didn't like is the fact that going to school from it was like 8 to 3 or so every single day. Well, except for weekends, and it was a 1 hour class, and by the end of the day, you were like, oh, why? Kind of thing. So, um, literally anyone who asks themselves, why do I go here, doesn't like it in Europe. That's unfortunate. Um, you know, uh, Here in the States, we really do need to have a perspective shift, though. Um, you see, one of the things that there's a reason why, say, for example, Japan. Okay, um, they they recognized education. Okay, they recognized the the effort that teachers put towards their students, and they really kind of drove home the idea that you really need to kind of study your way through schools, and like, okay, they have a deep appreciation for the school systems there. They have a deep appreciation for the teachers that are there. Um, and I kind of wish that they had that kind of mentality here in the States. I mean, some people do, okay, don't get me wrong. Um, but it's not completely great on that either. Um, there's no like school-wide, like, you know, drive for the best, or at least um, like they didn't have any like um, they or at least I don't really know, but based off of what I do know, I think maybe I could be completely wrong on this. Um, they do post like standings of their students, like how a student is um, how. Yeah, my headset likes to shut down on me if I don't have any music or audio coming into it. It for some odd reason it just does not understand that audio going out means that it's still in use. So 1 second while I put some audio on. Um, get a playlist going here so that I don't have to worry about that. And okay, good. There we go. All right. When I get to the point where I can teach what I do, I think it would be very cool if one time get a group of dedicated and experienced people together and help them with finishing the game together. To give back to the community that helps me with getting there too. I mean, that's one of the ways of going about doing it. Um, but just remember, when you go and do that, um, always remember to be flexible and be willing for change. Okay, that's one of the problems that a lot of people have a problem with. As they get older, they're not comfortable with change. They're always kind of confined in their viewpoints, and um, they are so focused on uh, they're so narrow viewed that they don't want to see anything else. Okay, like if one of the students comes forward and says, "Well, why can't we do it this way?" I mean, take that into consideration. That person might actually have some good ideas. You know, um, I hear it all the time, unfortunately. Um, well, not all the time, but I've heard, I hear people saying, "Oh, the music of today is crap because the everything that is being played nowadays, all the music that's being played nowadays is crap. Who wants to hear all this music that blah blah blah?" You see that, you hear that every single generation. Everybody gets so inclined on, their their focused thinking, their focused view that they don't even want to consider anything else. Um, there was, I remember I was doing Uber for a short period of time. I hated every second of it, so I stopped. Um, there was one guy. He was talking about how he was a manager, and um, he was hiring these um, kids out of college, and they were bringing in ideas that they learned in college. And he was like going, "This is the wrong way of going about doing things. Why are we, I don't want to entertain these ideas." I'm like, "Well, why? They might actually be decent ideas for your company. Anyone that doesn't innovate is left behind. So they might actually be some decent ideas for a company to be able to be flexible and change with the times. Because let's face it, anyone that sticks with the same kind of, well, I mean, let's take a look at like commercials, for example. You take a look at the commercial from like the 50s and 60s here in the States, and if you try to play play those kind of commercials today. Ooh, yeah, no. Some of those are pretty bad. Um, Now some of them might be okay, but that's the thing. Not every single one of those commercials can is good for the time. You know, it might have been good back then for some weird reason, but it might not be good nowadays. So, um, um, yeah, that's a big one when I coached teams. I had to learn that pretty much by listening in before that so many people only see one solution and follow like sheep. Yeah, I mean, it's it's that mentality that, you need to be willing to, um, you need to be flexible when it comes to all those. So, okay, so let's go ahead and get into our coding here. So, um, now um, we've taken care of all of the animations. Um, Also, one thing in this, what I don't get, so many people are money greedy and refuse to do anything for fun. Well, I mean, they, hmm, you can't say everybody does that, but um, the some people feel that um, that money will give you everything in the world, and for some people, that might be the case. Okay. Um, One of the things that I will say, one of the reasons why I don't care about getting rich or anything like that. I don't care about that. I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be rich. I don't really care about that. Okay. What I want to be is comfortable. Okay. Um, you know, I don't want to stress about where my next payment is going to be coming from. I don't want to stress about, you know, hey, can I cover my rent or can I cover my car payment or can I cover food? I don't want to get to that point. Okay. No one does. Okay. But, you know, it's nice when you actually get to a point where you don't have to worry about that. Um, and it's really nice when you don't have to, but okay. We don't need to worry about this right now. We'll worry about that. Um, Yeah, exactly. I just want to do what I love and not worry about if I'm doing too much of it. It's pretty much, pretty much. All right. So, um, now it's been a while since I've touched upon this. Um, so I'm going to be a little rusty when it comes to Unity because I did a lot of weeks of working on the drawings and animation and the like, so you'll have to kind of forgive me on this. But Um, so here, let me kind of show everybody where we last left off. All right, I'm just showing the very first basic level of this. Um, I'm already, I was kind of replacing the some of the resources that I had with the, you know, the, like the force that I wanted to do. Obviously, there's other additional resources that I need to replace, and I need to go about doing that. Also, um, the initial image here isn't the correct one that I need either, but again, that's that's a process that we're going to have to kind of continue working on a little bit, um, because each one of these is going to give me a certain amount of resources that I have to harvest, and eventually it will go away. So um, I have images available to to kind of expand on that, to kind of show um, large forests, being whittled down to a single. But obviously that's going to be, I'm going to need to handle that when I start getting into the resource collection. I don't necessarily need to worry about it just yet, okay? Because um, I would need to have a value placed in the resources, so that um, I can, um, when the value goes down, the image changes. So we're not there yet. Um, the other thing I need to get rid of are um, these agents here. Okay, obviously animations aren't really going to be, um, aren't what's necessary here, as well as the original human um, assets. So these are also going to need to be replaced. So um, we've already we've already fixed um, the map, so we can, the map will change over time. Now, switching between the maps, so for when the player um, wins on a particular level, switching to the next one is going to be a transition that will need to be studied and worked on and handled, but we're going to worry about that a little bit later. So what we're going to need to do today is we're going to need to set up our um, image palette so that we can throw all of our images that we have into the palette so that we can use them for the prefabs directly. So the what I have here for prefab isn't, um, will need to be, I'm going to need to kind of replace what I have here in the prefabs with what I, with other, um, with other objects and like so. Um, so let's go ahead and get started on that. So sure. Now I have these folders here, but they're not actually filled with anything in particular at this point in time. So let's see. Let me go ahead and look at maybe loading up the, go ahead and start working on where each of these folders are located at. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Hmm. Okay. Okay. First thing that we want to do is we want to add to this. So let's see. Um, let's see. Can I actually add these folders in this folder and have it update? Okay, let's go ahead and stop this for now. No worries there, Kira. No worries. I'll be here. See you when you get back. Putting a lot of images there, so that's a good sign. Yeah, I'll be here till about 6 o'clock there, bud. So about 3 more hours. So no worries there, bud. You have a good time, okay? You take care. As everybody can see, I've been doing quite a bit of going to be uploading quite a few of the images that I've created over time, so it's just going to take a little bit of time to finish this off. So okay, we don't need this active anymore. Yes, please stop playing. Alright. Let's go ahead and do. We have the warriors in there. Now let's go ahead and get the workers in there. 210 items. So this is going to take a little bit of time as well. But as you can see, we do have the warrior folder there. So we'll see about having this kind of upload all the workers as well. Okay, while we're doing that, go ahead and do go ahead and copy the other assets in here, and we'll see whether or not it hmm. Oh, I forgot to move things around. That's unfortunate. Okay. Um, Actually, hold on. Try and get rid of those real quick. Here, let me. Oh, actually, let's see. Let me see if I can kind of show. Um, yeah, that. So you guys can kind of see what I'm having to kind of work on here. So you aren't wondering what the heck is going on here. So, all right. So, um, as you can see, um, I'm moving things into the Jim's drawings folder. Okay. Again, I don't know whether or not I'm gonna be, if that's gonna be, I'm most likely gonna need to rename it. Um, I don't even know if I really want to, if this really needs to kind of stay as a folder within the overall assets. Not sure. Probably won't need it, but um, that's something that probably will need to be cleaned up afterwards. Okay. Um, because um, the prefabs can pretty much kind of stay um, within the prefabs folder. So this particular folder here, while it might be containing all the images, might not need to stay. Um, so now uh, I was thinking about moving um, the the folders for the ghosts into the Jim's drawings, but I found out I remembered the fact that um, I didn't have anything um, in the trap ghost. I didn't move all the images over there yet, so all these I didn't move over yet. So move that there, and those there. Let's see. Carry. Okay. We got the idle here and the walk there, so that's good enough. Now Did I have? Yeah, I had this idle kind of separated into two separate folders here. So let me go ahead and create folders here within idle, or within the carry for idle and walk, so that we can kind of handle this. Okay, so we're good there. We got the attack going, we have the idle, we have the walk, we have the trap with the idle and the walk as well. So now we can move these over to Jim's drawings there. So now we'll just go ahead and copy these over here, and that should update Unity altogether. So there it goes. So now let's go ahead and do the exact same thing with the um, other art assets here, ghouls. We got the ghouls already kind of handled for the most part. And looks like we're good there. Okay. So now we'll go here for the ghouls. Grab those. Copy them over there. Alright, there's that. Okay, now we will go to the goblins. See if we haven't organized our goblins yet, so don't really need that anymore. Okay, so go ahead and get all these guys. The trap goblins. And just the walks. There we go. Okay, we have the idol. I like the fact that I already have the folders already kind of made, so I don't necessarily need to worry about you know, which one goes in where, or you know, creating them from scratch again. So okay, I don't need um, I don't need the regular carry. So that was actually a bad move, but made by me. Okay, let's. Oh, damn it! I didn't mean to do that. All right. So what I want to do is I want to just take those, move them back out here. I don't really need them inside anymore. So idle, lock, and all the carries. Okay. And then of course carries have their own idle and lock folder as well. Alright. should be good now. Yeah. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So now we're gonna take both of these and copy them here as well. Alright. Let's see. Don't think we really need that anymore. So we have ghost ghouls, goblins, a forest. We have all four, or we have all eight. So let's see. Holy pool. Okay, let's go ahead and copy all those in. Okay, mithril ore. Okay. You know, we'll see whether or not I actually need icons at this point, but for now, I'm not gonna worry about it. And then we got sunstones. There we go. Okay, now while on Unity, should be doing a lot of importing and like, so this is gonna take a while. Okay, gonna be having a little bit of difficulty trying to remember um, the steps that I took to get the animations working for the 2D and trying to um, do the exact same thing with what I have currently. So you'll have to kind of forgive me a little bit while I try to um, work on this a bit. Um, trying to remember all the particular details on this. So um, yeah, so obviously we're gonna need to kind of change that out. See, we still have all these, the old texture packs and the like, but we now have a lot more to choose from within the asset list. So this is nice. So, okay. Let's see. Um, so see. Ghost Trapper. See. There we go. Okay. See for the ghoul. Yeah, a lot to change on that as well. Okay. Have anything for the hunter right at the moment in time, or at least this prefab isn't really that necessary. Again, Ghoul Hunter is one of those that might not be put in directly, meaning that Ghoul Hunter uh, is basically the ones that would hunt down the hunters, and um, again, um, there might be a balancing issue with that, so I'm not putting it in directly. So, but we will add the Ghoul Trap in there. Let's see. Let's see. Goblin. Let's see. Goblin idle. One left. Have anything for the hunter and the trapper? Do that one. Okay. So let's see. Hmm. Okay, we have our human script already kind of being worked on right at the moment, so um, alright, we still have the controller and the like. Hmm. Okay. Now we want them to be fairly standard right at the moment, so um, hmm, yeah, I think. Oh, that's not great. Yeah, so I was kind of afraid that that was kind of that was going to happen there. So um, let's see. Oh, wait, that's attack. Don't really need attack. I want the idol. Ghoul Hunter. And Goblin Hunter. Okay. That looks a little creepy right there. Again, Ultimate Hunter might not be a thing that I'm gonna have. Don't really know. I'll leave it for now. Um, let's see. Hmm. Hmm. So I'm gonna need to figure out where um what I'm gonna need to kind of do to um I'm gonna need to kind of try to fix this overall because the initial tree sprite is fine, but eventually will want it to be like the tree 8 sprite to start off with, and then have it work its way down into the other sprites as you know we go along. So, hmm. I want to try to center this on the overall image itself, but I don't know if that will really work or not. But um, oh yeah, let's go ahead and change this. Um, let's see, is there a way for me to get rid of art assets in here? Hmm, probably not. Well, I'll need to kind of look that up here a little bit. So um, we're gonna need to find the holy water. Here we go. At least you can kind of isolate, which ones that you kind of wanted to use and what you want to do. So I can just go here for the search and you know, bring in the mithril. Okay, this is taking a little bit of time for the Unity to catch up here. Okay, Unity, what's going on here? Why are you having an issue? Okay, well, Unity's having some issues. And let me switch over to webcam here real quick. We'll see whether or not Unity is having some issues with Windows or not. Go test manager. Hmm. Unity is taking up quite a bit of the CPU. I mean, which is understandable. Uh, it's not saying that it's completely locked, though. That's the problem. It's interesting. Hmm. Okay. Nope. Apparently, it is having a problem. Okay. The editor itself is seems as though it's not really having a problem. It's this particular scene apparently is having the issue. Okay, well, not sure what the heck happened there, but let's go ahead and try to bring this back here. Alright, go ahead and bring this back to live again. Uh, Search. Okay. Don't know why uh, Unity was having a problem with that one particular scene, but hopefully we won't have that problem again. I mean, we don't really have any kind of problems with space or anything like that. Don't really need to have any problem, and there's no problems there, so. Alright. So let's go ahead and um, let's go about trying to delete the images from Unity's image palette here. So um, okay, so Unity moving um, images from palette. Okay. Okay, let's see. Um, hmm. That didn't get changed. Hmm. let's see. Um, assets. Um, let's see, maybe. Let's see, do I have a way to maybe remove the one package directly? Hmm. Okay, that's not exactly what I was kind of hoping for. Um, let's see. Yeah, that's not what I'm looking for. They don't really have any way to kind of go to the asset management and say, hey, remove these. And I don't think there's really any need for me to go to the asset store, but I'll open it up anyway, and we'll see about trying to just kind of remove all the tasty characters that way. I kind of doubt it. Kind of doubt that there's a way for me to go about doing that. Let's see. Yeah, and I'm not even logged in right at the moment, so we won't even bother with that. Okay, let's see. Oh gosh. It's been a while since I messed around with this, so, move asset package. Um, Click the asset folder and delete. The package is changed project settings, you can change them. Um, yeah, it would be kind of nice to just be able to kind of say, hey, I don't, go to, um, you know, asset management. Be able to kind of see, hey, here's all the assets that you have installed on here. Oh, you want them or you don't want them? That kind of thing. But, eh. All right. So go ahead and get rid of that. We don't really need it anymore. As much as it was useful for me as a placeholder, I don't really need it anymore for all of its assets at this time. Now, for those of you that um, might be getting into any kind of game design for the very first time, then um, you know what uh, that package there with you know those are free assets that you could use in your game if you wanted to. Obviously, that they would be uh, grateful if you could let them, let people know. Um, Obviously add credit where credit is due. Um, but I was never intending it to be, um, the art that was available with that particular package with the tasty characters. It wasn't. He didn't have what I needed, what I wanted to see, what my particular vision was for it. So, um, hence the reason why it was okay for me to kind of remove it. But obviously, if you're wanting to create a new game and you those particular art assets are perfect for what you're trying to go for, then go ahead and use them. But for me, didn't really need them. So um, all right. So okay, now let's see if we do that. Okay, so all the tasty characters are gone uh, from the assets here, which is perfectly fine. Now, at some point in time, I do want to, um, you know, I won't be needing um, these plants, the plant, the rock, the tree, the vine, won't be needing those. And at some point in time, I also want to kind of replace these hex tiles with something that might be a little bit better. Obviously, you know, for example, this one right here, I'm currently using for the human city. That's obviously not going to be the best tile for the human city, so I'll want to create something that can um, visually represent um, what I want to kind of show, what the human city is, the ghost, ghoul, or goblin cities, and so on and so forth. Okay. But for now, they're okay as placeholders. Obviously, I'll need to change them, um, you know, by the end. We'll we'll replace them with proper hex tiles at the end of the game when pretty much everything else is done. Um, we'll try to work on those background hex tiles a little bit more. Try to get some um, a little bit more visuals in there for that. But for now, they're fine. So um, but so far, we're having a hard time trying to change the sprite within the inspector here. Hmm. Why are we having such a hard time with this right at the moment? Once again, Unity's not responding with the image selection. Hmm. Kind of interesting, kind of odd. I'm not sure what's going on there, but we'll just kind of hold on and wait for now. See if it eventually recovers. Hmm. Okay, yeah. We're just gonna stop that. We're having some issues with that. That's not great. Not sure why we're having such a unfortunate time with that. Let me see about maybe just kind of deleting those particular art assets and see what happens. I mean, I've deleted off the tasty characters, so let me see about maybe just deleting um, those resource images and see if we have any like additional problems with that. Okay, let's see. Oh, right. Okay, um, so Sunnyland Forest has all of them all kind of together. So let's just go ahead and delete these. Okay. Just does not like this particular image or something like that. It keeps on giving me a not responding whenever I select it. What's going on with this? Okay, well, we'll just leave it for now. I'll give it a couple minutes for it to try to figure out why it's having an issue with that. Um, so we'll go ahead and replace the sprites, or at least that's the plan for all the resources. Then we will, um, then we're gonna look into trying to get the animation set for each of the humans, and of course the monsters, the GGGs. Um, and then we'll start working on the transitions for for them. Being able to kind of go from left to right, right to left. Um, idle to walk, walk to idle, and then um, the have the constructions workers kind of get to a point where, hey, have basically a circle, which is going to be quite confusing to kind of see. I'm pretty sure, um, because the construction worker is meant to be able to kind of go to any particular resource and pull out any particular mining tool and mine like right then and there. Okay, I don't expect the player to be telling the city, "Hey, I need the construction workers to only be spitting out, I need the city to be only spitting out workers that will handle collecting just forests. Okay, I don't want to deal with that. Um, I kind of appreciated the, um, when it came to say like, Majesty's game system, for example, as I've kind of referred to it in the past, the townfolk would, if they needed to construct something, they would go to the construction and start building. If they needed to repair, they would go to that particular building and repair it. Um, there wasn't any, there wasn't anything that those town folk couldn't necessarily do based off of um, those particular requests. Okay, um, like you know, you as a player didn't have to go to the castle and say, okay, I only need villagers that can do construction and construction only. Let's forget about the repairs. We don't need them. It's like no, the villagers are able to kind of switch between the two. Now, um, same kind of process with this in that um, the construction workers are going to be able to kind of switch their jobs around depending on where, like if the player basically says, hey, I need forest or whatnot, then the human agents are going to be going to the forest and start harvesting the resources right there and there. But they might go, um, but they might also decide that hey, we're going to go to this other resource that's like right here and start mining it as well. Um, that's one of the reasons why I'm gonna try to implement a like a bounty flag so that when um, so the player can basically highlight a particular resource on the map and basically saying go here, you know resource, you know mine these resources or the like, and the construction workers are going to go to that particular location and start you know collecting on the resources that are on that one particular spot. um, do I want to have any kind of stacking, or do I want to have any kind of um, blocking of humans based off of the um, position that they're located in? For example, like if we have a human that is collecting a resource, but they're blocking a path, do we want to have them have to move? Well, based off of what um, based off of what I've kind of seen, um, it's probably best if I allow for um, for the human assets, the player assets to be able to kind of pass through each other. Otherwise, you're gonna have construction workers that are basically gonna block the path of other construction workers, and who's to say whether or not um, the humans going back to the cities are actually going to get back there because there's so many people just kind of standing in the way. Yeah, we're not going to do that. Um, okay, so it looks like it finally selected the Methyl 8 sprite, but it's still having some issues trying to close on down here. Um, so we'll wait. We'll wait a little bit longer. I don't know why Unity's having such a hard time with this right at the moment, but still not responding completely on this. But We'll, we'll keep on waiting for it to catch up. I mean, I appreciate the fact that the inspector is updated, but I'm not really happy with the fact that the palette itself is still active, still up and active. But, we'll wait. We'll wait for it to kind of fix itself. Okay. Let's see. What else? Um, yeah, so I'm looking at the construction workers, uh, and it's going to be a little interesting on that because um, the um, it's going to be interesting for the AI decision to go, okay, well, I want to go from the construction of barriers to harvesting of trees and be able to go, okay, um, you know, I need uh, the selections between them to be able to kind of go back and forth with each other. So, like for example, if the construction worker needs to go to construct the barrier, then afterwards needs to go and harvest some more forest, then I'm gonna basically need to go, okay, well, you know, he was at the forest, so he needs to go construct a barrier and then switch right back to, collecting some more wood from the forest. So, um, so there's a certain amount of information that needs to kind of go back and forth with each other to make sure that that's, working as intended. So, I don't know what is up with Unity right at the moment, but this is kind of irritating a little bit. The fact that, image selection is taking this long for it to process. I don't know where the major, um, where the major problem is on this, and I mean, is it maybe because I'm using an older version? It's having some issues there? Maybe, but that that shouldn't really matter all that much, though. I mean, it shouldn't have this much problems with. I mean, if it's allowing it for it to happen, then why are we so slow on this? Why is it having so much issues trying to handle the sprite? Hmm. Um, oh, are we done? Oh, it's just still trying to it's still trying to process it all apparently. So, let's see. Um, uh, updating sprite image delay. Um, hmm. Hmm. Okay. Um, hmm. Why are we having such a huge issue with this? Hmm. I don't know, just keep on waiting, I guess. I don't know what else to really do. I mean, I don't want to keep on closing it. I don't want to keep on ending the task because it's really not getting me anywhere. And apparently this is something that it's just having a huge issue with. So that it's happening multiple times. So I don't really have any other way of kind of speeding up the process or anything along those lines. So I can't really see anything in the my Google search that basically kind of stands out like, hey, don't do this because you're going to have like severe delays if you're trying to change a sprite from, pixel to vector or something like that. I don't really know. Um, but eventually it will let go. Eventually it will be able to understand, hey, you don't need to worry about this anymore. We fixed the issue, but I may need to just update the UI if it's having this much of a difficulty with it. Then maybe it was a bug that they didn't really know about until recently. I'm not sure. But my task manager saying not responding is not exactly cause for being super happy on this. So, um, you know, I would, you know, switch on over to code. Problem is the the reason why I'm kind of hesitant on doing that is because um, you know, I want to make sure that the naming conventions are correct. So like, um, so for example, if I need to switch from, you know, construction idle to, you know, facing the left to construction idle facing the right, then I want to make sure that I have um, the right trigger word set up so that if, you know, when I do put these into the code, I can trigger, you know, I can call for that trigger so that, you know, when a unit is going in a certain direction, say like, you know, like a positive value versus a negative value, okay, um, then it will basically uh, get the trigger. So I'll change the animation from left to right and use the image to the right over and over and over again until it, you know, needs to go back to the left. So, but this is kind of unfortunate that we're kind of having to face a slowdown because of the editor itself. Hmm. Let me try doing a like a maybe a different search here. So, um, Sprite, uh, bonding. And oh, no one responded to that. Okay. Hmm. Let's see. Hmm. Let's see. Still, Unity editor's having a problem. Not responding. Hmm. Creating new blank projects. right clicking and reporting the spread does not do what it's supposed to do. Modified image. Nothing to do with tile sets. Same process with two different versions of Unity. Tried saving projects and images to different locations. I've even tried reinstalling Unity Hub, but none of that made a difference. Found these seems to have kind of the same problem back in 2016. Really, the workaround suggested in the answers there actually worked. I'm manual going into the Unity asset files and replace a copy of the image I want to re-import and choose copy and replace to successfully replace, update the file. So at least I'll be able to continue development. I repeated this entire process with 3D model, same exact story. Okay. Oh, finally. It's nope. I saw that it wasn't. It was um it was it wasn't it was I wasn't seeing the not responding anymore. So, but nope, it's back. Um, okay, let's see. Unity editor, not responding. Hmm. Um, okay. Hmm. Interesting. Actually has some YouTube music playing through a browser. Hmm. Seems kind of odd. Why would it have an issue with that? Yeah, I guess stop the music and see if that has some kind of change in the editor. Still not responding. Um, hmm. I believe this might be some interaction between Unity, the Oculus runtime, and some USB devices we're looking to fix now. For me personally, I had the USB audio interface that was causing some form of conflict. Unplugging it fixes the issue for now, but we hope to have a better solution soon. Hmm. Okay. Current workarounds are to either figure out which USB device is causing the process caused by process of elimination and unplug it. Temporarily disable the iOS VR runtime service by using Unity. Follow up once we have a better solution in place. Um, hmm. It's the USB devices connected as system so that I can find input devices. Okay. It also does this enumeration when Windows sends Unity a message telling it that USB devices have been added or removed. Small subset of USB devices, this enumeration takes longer than it should, resulting in that 5 to 10-second pause. Should be instant or almost instant. We're still looking into whether this pause is avoidable on the Unity side when enumerating these devices. Okay. Um, I mean, is that what's going on? I mean, I haven't used Unity in a long time, and I believe I've gotten the headset since then. Could the headset be the issue? I don't know about that. Um, I mean, maybe it could be a possible issue, but I mean, they've had, you know, 2 years to try to work on this, so um, one would imagine that they've already kind of fixed the issue by then, but who's to say, right? Um, I'm hoping that this is not the case, but I mean, I don't know what other cause this might be having right at this point. Why I'm having such a large issue right at this point. Hmm, you know, see, it's not even responding to me anymore. So gonna go ahead and close it down again. Okay. So um, what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and allow for it to update. I mean, I don't really have any other course of action at this point in time. This is really slowing down my production, waiting for Unity to try to catch up with itself. So I really don't need this at this point, but um, I'm hoping that it's not, Unity isn't having that much of an issue with the USB, but um, hmm, people are still seeing it in the 2019. Um, okay. Let's see. Check for updates. Wait, what? That's not the. Ah, what are you doing? Um, you're kidding me, right? When I do a check for updates, it should be like, hey, this is an older version, so we're going to look for a new version for you and say, hey, or that one little message bar that pops up and says, hey, you're using an old version, you need to update. That's what this is supposed to be all about. Okay. Um, nope. Get rid of that. Hmm. Maybe we're. Nope. Hmm. Okay, well, don't know what else I can really do about that. Um, hmm. Hmm. Okay. So it's looking like this particular issue hasn't been resolved. Hey there, Jedi. How you doing there, bud? I'm having a little bit of difficulty um with Unity right at the moment. So trying to figure out what why I'm having such a difficult time with it right at this point, right at this moment. So mm, just getting your Portal 2 on. Nice. Yeah, I'm trying to change um the sprites around, and when I'm changing the sprites, um it kind of locks up on me. So I go here, click on that, and I suddenly get a crash. Hmm. Let's see. Yeah, I can't get any kind of response on that whatsoever. Hmm. Kind of wish that I had a log for Unity. Here, let me see. Unity editor log. Let's see. Let me see if maybe the log files has some data as to what's going on, because this is getting kind of ridiculous here. So so 1 second while I track this down. if I can figure out where the issue is. Okay. Hmm. Okay. That log really has nothing in it. Hmm. Weird. Um. Hmm. Let's see. Hey there, Cookie. How you doing there? Welcome to the channel. Pardon me while I'm trying to figure out what the heck is going on here. Um, my my Unity is apparently freezing up on me while trying to change the the sprites that I removed into the new sprites that I want to use, and it's having an issue with that right at the moment. Um, so just trying to figure that part out. I'm looking at the logs right now to see if there's maybe something going on behind the scenes that um, might be something that I can figure out. Like there was there's talk about um, people getting delays in their Unity all due to the fact that they are um, have USB devices connected, and it's like, okay, well, uh, how am I gonna solve that? You know, again, I don't know whether or not this is an actual um, if this is the correct problem to what I'm facing right at this point, but um, the fact that my task manager is saying that my Unity editor is not responding right at this point, and uh, you know, I'm not getting any changes going on here whatsoever. It's really slowing down the process of me actually getting any kind of work done on my game. So I'm like, come on. So I'm maybe tried a different method of updating the sprite. Um, no, I haven't tried a different method as of yet. I removed the folder from the asset windows because I wasn't planning on using those particular assets anymore, and I guess that just caused a huge problem right at this point because now it's I mean, I was able to do it for some of the assets, but it's not really working for all of them. So that's why I'm kind of wondering what is going on here. So I drag and drop instead of using pop-up window. Yeah, so it's taking a while to try to. Yeah, as you can see, it just changed the value here. So it's taking a while to actually kind of process process what's going on here, and it's a really interesting bug going on at the moment. So I'm trying to see if there's something like maybe happening on the back end, um, but so far I'm not really seeing any like major. Um, I'm looking through the logs right at the moment. Could have something to do with them being vector art. Possibly. I mean, the fact that I'm changing um, I'm changing pixel sprites into vectors. Um, Maybe it's having a hard time trying to transition between the two, even though I do have um, the plugin for vector installed on this version of Unity. Um, Maybe it's just having a hard time trying to change between the two, maybe. So I know vector art was is kind of a newish for the most part feature of Unity. So no worries there, Cookie. Your guess is as good as mine right at the moment. So um, you know, um, I'm just kind of you know talking about what my editor's kind of dealing with right at the moment. So here, let me see if I can kind of maybe show it a little bit here. So this is basically what I'm kind of dealing with right at the moment. So it's like okay, well, I'm having a little bit of difficulty with this right at this moment in time. So yeah. So I'm just trying to look up anything that I can find that might be relevant to the issue at hand. Um, Figure out what the heck is going on. Um, yeah, the problem is that the um, ending the task and restarting hasn't really resolved the issue unless, well, I mean, it has and it hasn't in that it came back working perfectly fine, but the sprites still haven't really been updated completely. Um, so I still need to kind of figure that part out. So let's see. Um, hmm. I'm just looking through the log files right at the moment, the editor.log, to see if there might be something here that I can use, or it's something that like it's giving me an error. Okay, here we are. Start importing using that importer, then importing asset, target hash. Um, so yeah, I'm seeing this right at this moment in time. So this was part of the uh, editor log there. So something's going on. Something's having some issues with the importer. It's taking quite a bit of time to try to handle all this apparently, so I don't really see anything else here that is um, let's see. Uh, hmm. Hmm. Okay. Well, just wait a little bit longer, I guess, for this. Um, so let's see. Um, I don't know what those. Um, these are typically the prefabs themselves. Forget exactly what these are all about. Let's see. Um, hmm. I want to see if they're. I want to find the correct term of the what I'm seeing there on the resources. But so far, I'm not really seeing anything in particular image-wise to really help me out with that. Let's see. Um, Prefab. Let's see. Project window. Project window. let's see, project window, icons. Uh, Hmm. This doesn't look like what I'm looking for. Um, just want a listing of what each one of these icons are all about so I can actually properly name them. So, for example, obviously these boxes here are, what you would call the prefabs, but this icon like right below it, what's their technical word for it? I don't really know offhand. Um, so I wanted to see if I can actually find that word so that I can use it, you know, as we kind of um, move forward on it. It's dot asset. Okay. Um, Project window. You can see the extension in the bottom bar of the project window. Hmm. Problem is that I'm not actually seeing it anywhere. Oh, is that what this all about right down here? Is this kind of supposedly showing the full name of it right down here? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Then with that in mind, that is indeed a dot asset. Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, the fact that it's showing the um, the folder structure, you know, pathing for the asset itself is what's kind of taking the um, is kind of the problem along those lines. I mean, um, if you have multiple different folders and it just keeps on getting expanding and expanding, there's nothing that you can really do about it. But okay, so um, while this is still kind of not responding right at the moment, we'll just go ahead and do changing sprite in dot asset. Um, That's what a scriptable object instance will show up as also. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's not really giving me anything that I'm really looking for at the moment. Um, hmm, not really seeing anything directly here on that. Oh, I'm using an older version of Unity. I haven't updated it yet. We're probably having a hard time trying to see it right at the moment, but it's 2019.3.4 F1. So I've been meaning to update it. I really should have updated it today, to be honest, seeing that I was going back into actually developing the Unity code, seeing that all the art assets that I did last week is pretty much done for now, but um, I really should have taken time to try to get that all taken care of. So yeah, what's really irritating is the fact that I did the I um when I closed this down and brought it right back up again, I checked for an update and it says, "Hey, you're using the latest update." It's like, no, I know for certain that I'm not using the latest update. But alright, well, here let's just go ahead and close this down. I'm kind of tired of waiting for it again. Alright, let's see. Um, can't do the new platform there. There's no way for me to do that there. Um, there it is. Let's see. Recommended release. Don't really want to deal with any kind of the pre-releases or anything along those lines. Um, hmm. They're recommending the 2019.4, but they have a 2020 now. Hmm. I mean, are they still having some? They're probably still having some issues with 2020. 2020.1 is pretty rough. I've skipped over it. Uh, do you use the? Have you kind of been looking at the pre-releases, or do you just kind of stick with the 2019 for now? I don't normally use the pre-releases. You're using 2020.2? Yeah. Um, I, I I'm always kind of careful with doing the pre-releases because I don't necessarily want them kind of causing additional problems, but I think I'll just stick with the point 0.4 for now. Let's see. Um, right, Android build support, Windows build support. Yep, that's what I need. Let's go. All right. So we'll just kind of let that go for the time being. Um, then we'll update the game to the latest version, and then we'll maybe try again with the dot asset, see if it still has the same kind of problem. It probably will, so I'll probably need to just kind of close it back down again. Um, but yeah, as you can see, it's been a while since I updated it, but with the um, with the fact that I've been kind of uh, away from Unity for a while now, trying to do all the art assets during these coding streams, it's you know there was definitely some time spent on that. So, um, but we'll try to get that all taken care of. Get the art assets um, locked in. We'll work on trying to get the prefabs up and running. Start getting the animations in there. Selecting the animations into their respective animation groups. It's been a while since I've worked on that, so um, uh, optimistic you're getting thousands of bug fixes between those versions. You're using a really early version of, yeah, really unstable back then. Yeah, I mean it was still working as intended, but yeah, it's um, normally I wait a little while to for uh, seeing that they update this fairly regularly, as you could see earlier. Um, sometimes updates don't really, uh, obviously some bug fixes are good, but sometimes they might not have tested out a particular bug fix and it causes other additional bugs. So, uh, normally when you have a project like this that has uh, a lot of updates in a short period of time, I normally wait a little while for it to kind of gather up um, all to kind of gather up all the necessary bug fixes and on all that jazz. So um, yeah, I know. I always you always find some kind of problems one way or another with a project like this. So, and the fact that it's a free tool. I mean, you have to be understanding that as a free tool that it is, um, you're going to be experiencing some amount of hiccups here and there. That's a given. So, yeah, I mean, it can be really irritating when you're actually paying for a product, such as products from say Microsoft, for example, and still having similar bugs. But as a business, Microsoft really needs to make sure that they handle these issues like right away, kind of thing. But I mean, as an operating system, they're having to face a lot more headaches overall. um, Free has nothing to do with it, to be honest. Yes and no. Um, if if they were asking for subscription fee, then they would be able to most likely hire additional developers on their team to be able to handle fixes and the like a little bit more than what they currently do, I would imagine. So, um, Autodesk and Adobe have more long-running bugs than I can think of compared to Unity. I don't really have too much of experience with Autodesk and Adobe, so um, what I have used of Adobe, I haven't really faced that many. I haven't really faced that many bugs when it came to Adobe. But then again, the most that I really used of Adobe was just like their Reader and Flash. Um, um, so so obviously I wasn't working with some of the more uh, I didn't really work with like their major like tools or anything along those lines. So um, but when you look at say like operating systems and products that are like constantly changing, like um, word processors, um, Excel spreadsheets, and like so. Um, the um, you know you need to make sure as a company that if you're experience if you're selling off a product and um, you have a lot of bugs to it, then you better make sure that you get those bugs taken care of as quickly as possible because you're just gonna lose customers that way. So um, I can crash Adobe Reader on demand. Yeah. I remember one time, when I was using Linux, I think it was, I forget exactly which Linux it was. It was like Red Hat or, gosh, it's been a while. But I remember I was using their word processing tool, and I remember certain button combination clicks allowed me to actually crash their operating system. Not the word processor, the operating system. So, um, so it was quite an interesting experience, to say the least, um, when that happened. So, um, just use Optimize on a mesh with Turbo Smooth above it. Been crashing 3DS for 10 years. Oof, interesting, interesting. I wonder if it's um, wonder why they haven't fixed that. I mean, I'm gonna assume that people have kind of complained about that particular bug for a long time now. I'm just kind of curious as to why they haven't, uh, or maybe they just haven't been able to figure out, you know, um, like maybe it's more of a mathematical problem than anything else, trying to figure out what's the best solution to try to handle it mathematically to resolve the issue. Like, the fixes that they've tried to implement in the past are something that just kind of slows down the process too much. You never know, man. You never know. What, the 3DS one? Yeah, I'm just speculating. To be honest, I don't know much of what I don't know much of what you're uh, what you're doing there along those lines. Um, so I haven't messed with any of what you're talking about, so I'm kind of speculating, which obviously I'm trying to use an educated speculation on it, but obviously I don't know much about what you have to deal with on that. So, uh, what goes into using a turbo smooth above a mesh. So, so actually I probably said that wrong. You probably just cringed at that. Optimize and mesh with turbo. Hmm. Yeah, so I would imagine that they're trying to do. Okay, so if I'm just kind of speculating here at the moment. Um, you're um, 3DS Max. Um, if I remember correctly, that's a graphical utility. Keep on playing. Um, um, so you have a mesh with turbo smooth. So it's been a while since I've kind of messed with or really kind of looked at that. Mesh is just like a graphical overlay. I'm probably messing up pretty big on that. So if you're trying to do an optimize on it, you're trying to optimize um, probably the overall graphics to it all. Trying to make things a little bit more um, streamlined for the most part. So I would imagine that trying to Um, and them trying to actually do any kind of mathematical formulas to try to figure out how to handle that is probably what is their main um, difficulty. Again, I'm just speculating on this, so I could be completely off base. So, like I said, um, it's not important. It's pretty obvious they're doing something wrong, reaching out of bounds of a data buffer or something. Probably because they don't update the mesh properly before it runs a turbo smooth over it. Maybe. Um, I don't understand uh, why, you know, the that kind of, you know, uh, figuring out um, the off by one errors tend to be, do tend to be the most problematic, but they can also be one of the ones that can be fairly easy to find, especially if you have the right debugging tools on your uh, in your list of resources. So, um, but then again, it could be a way of how they're actually handling their data buffer. So, I mean, who knows? I've done some of that mesh specialization stuff, so I have a pretty good idea of what can go wrong. Uh, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, let's see. So once we get those prefabs updated with the new assets, we need to get the uh, animation set, get the um, get the triggers done for each one of them so that we can put them within the um, uh, what is that window with the all the triggers, the action sequences? Gosh, like I said, it's been a while since I've kind of worked on the um, since I worked with Unity, so could easily be a race condition too. Yeah, could be. I mean, let's face it. If they haven't figured out what the problem is, then um, or if they haven't been able to kind of put in a fix for that particular problem, then either they don't really consider it as a major issue, um, which is one of those topics where it's like, you know, um, you know, uh, do they, you know, there are some bugs, some issues that they just don't really care about. They don't really see it as a major problem. They see it as something that is isolated and they don't necessarily need to worry about it, or they don't feel that it's something that is um, they don't really see it as something that they want to devote all their programmers' time to try to fix it. you know. So, um, so they acquired this polymodeling asset, then never update any of the tools. Well, I mean that's unfortunately a lot of the issues. Um, I remember, um, I was working for one company. Um, their client was they originally made their website using Cold Fusion, and they were trying to stick with Cold Fusion for a long time on it. Um, and Sun just basically didn't want to update it whatsoever. Um, it was a nice tool. It worked. Uh, you know, the language itself um, was a pretty well done tool, but the problem was that because they pretty much stopped updating it, and stopped, you know, adding on to it and continuing building it into something, you know, because they just basically, stopped all um, updates. It started turning into a dead language, and even though, you know, I was trained on how to code in the language and work with the language, I could see just from the fact that there was hardly any updates from the company itself. The forum posts for year or two, not really updating. It was basically a dying language, and um, I basically, I think that, my manager at the time, he knew that it was also a dying language and that they would need to eventually move their client's website into something else, um, something that can handle the database backend as well as um, the UI front end. But um, I was laid off on that company prior to that actually happening, which, okay. I would have been fine trying to learn something new to try to keep on going, but they didn't feel like it was worth their time, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's the larger issue. It's not that they can, they just don't give it the attention. Yeah, well, I mean, let's face it. When you're when you're a larger company and your product is starting to kind of reach hundreds of thousands of users and like you look at the ones that have the squeakiest of wheels, you look at the problems that have um, you look at the ones that, you look at the tools that everybody uses, you look at the tools that are causing more crashes on a longer than, just regular use. Um, and isolated instances of crashes, they might have that on their listing of things to maybe eventually fix, but when you're talking about a product that they always need to kind of constantly update into, a newer version, something that, um, has a better user interface, updated user interface, um, eventually they're going to basically go, okay, well, we have this as a, um, we know that this is a potential issue. We just don't have the manpower at this point to try to look at it and figure out what the issue might be. Or it might be at that point where the um, they might be worried that the fix for that particular issue might break the rest of the program. I mean, there could be that as well. Like, the uh, they could be using some kind of uh, data values or something like that. That if they decided to try to change it for some reason, it might cause a cascade of additional bugs and crashes that they don't really want to deal with overall. So, um, you know, like for example, like maybe for example they decided that hey, they were using a float when they should have been using a double, and if they changed it over to a double, then they would have to go through every single last function to try to replace all the float calls with the double calls, and it's basically to the point where they're like, yeah, no, we're just not going to deal with it. So, who's to say? You know, it's one of the problems with trying to install while streaming. Doesn't really it doesn't really work very well. It's one of the reasons why I tend to uh, not do any kind of like major updates or something like that until I'm actually offline. Um, but it's okay. I mean, um, as I've kind of mentioned before, this project is not about of trying to get everything kind of done as quickly as possible. It's just a matter of getting it done. Um, so I'm just gonna keep on plugging away at it to the point where I will eventually finish it and release it. So it's not a matter of uh, hey, I want to get this done in a month or something like that. It's just I want to get it done. So I'm taking all the time that I want to do all the research, the um, the up the updates on it, you know the necessary changes uh, that are required to make sure that I'm give a decent product when I do eventually release it to the public. So um, so that when someone does no one's uh, no one's project being uh, released to the general public is ever perfect. So, well, it looks like Twitch is having a problem right at the moment, or Streamlabs is having a problem, or something is having a problem to the point where I can't get any kind of major connection here right at the moment there, folks. So, So hopefully it'll reconnect soon, and you guys can kind of see what's going on. Maybe, um, yeah, I can see that. I don't know if you guys, if you, any of you can still hear me, but I can see that my web app isn't updating either on this. So see about trying to connect again on that. So, yep, okay. It's not even showing the fact that I'm live anymore. So, yay. Um, okay. Why is it that every time, um, like around this time, I experience a lot of, you know, Twitch difficulties or just internet connection in general. Sure. Um, would be nice if I can get a like a refresh on um, the connection here without actually having to stop by overall connection. So, mm, okay. I guess I'll just have to do this. I'll go ahead and stop the stream for a split second here, because it's not reconnecting, and which means that most likely we'll need to merge these two videos together because I'm not done yet. I want to continue uh, streaming for another uh, 40 minutes here, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So um, stick around.